Alright, so here I have a couple canvases from the Dollar Tree. I do end up using 4 of them for this project. Now I'm going to cover the opposing corners on all 4 of the frames, and then I'm going to water down a little bit of acrylic paint. I'm going to use a different color for each panel. I'm going to thin it out, and then after it's thinned out to thin paste, I'm going to start flicking it onto the canvas with a toothbrush. Now if you get big splotches like this, no big deal. I kind of just splotch them around. It is kind of go with the flow, so it doesn't really matter if you have these imperfections, I feel. Now after you do all those panels, I do the opposite, and I cover all of them and put them together like this, and then I start flicking some thinned down black paint around. And I'm doing it in a kind of a triangle diamond style, triangle on each one but diamond all together. Almost looks like a kite. Now see, if you get some of those splotches, it's really easy just to kind of dab them up. And then I'm trying to go around the edge to create a darker line, gradient from darker to light to the middle. So you get, when you pull it away, you kind of have like a nice crisp edge. And then if I do have some spots where I do have some of those bigger black spots, I'm just going to kind of hide those with adding a little more flicked black paint on there. Now I found using a couple fingers to flick with the toothbrush worked a lot better than just using my thumb as I did in the beginning. And once it's to my liking, I'm going to stop, and then I am going to add a little bit of kind of like a gray white just to add a little more interest to the middle, add a little more depth since there's the white underneath there. And then I'm just going to pull it away, and you'll see how you have that kind of crisp line in the middle. And I do go through and I touch up each panel to kind of blend it a little better. And here we have it on the wall. Now I could have hung it a little better, but this is just to show you how it looks. I really like this technique, and I think it'd be really cool to try in some different ways. I felt like this was a great test to see if it was applicable to try for something else. I'm really excited to try this technique with another shape and maybe a bigger canvas. Alright, so here I'm taking a canvas from the Dollar Tree. I am going to be using 2 different sizes. I'm putting some acrylic paint down, just 2 colors, blue and black. Now you could use 1 or 2. I found using less is better here so it doesn't get too busy underneath, because it is going to be kind of like you're familiar with those scratch offs as a kid where it's like color underneath and black on top. That's what we're going to be doing kind of here. Now here I didn't even clean my paintbrush. I'm just applying the color, so that shows you, it does not have to be perfect at all. Just make sure you have some color underneath there. And then we're going to take our joint compounds, and I'm going to be using my hands with the glove because I found that I liked how the texture is with that, but you could use a spatula or you could use a trowel, and you're just going to put that down, covering the whole canvas so you don't see any of the undercolor. Make sure you put enough, kind of like a crumb coat if you're familiar with that baking term, but enough down where it's not too much and not too little. And make sure you clean the sides off. Once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And you're just going to take your trowel and rake through it. Now I'm going to do a U shape here, but you could do any shape you wanted. If you don't like the shape, you could even go back and redo it. Here I'm just adding some more texture. It's very forgiving. And there you have it. Let's do another one. So covering the whole thing again, making sure all the black's covered, the crumb coat, not too much, not too little. Don't care about the texture, that's actually a good thing. It's gonna make your piece more interesting. And then just go wild with the trowel. If you don't like it, do it again. Super easy. And we're just gonna clean off the sides so it's nice and clean. And then here I did this one with a hair comb and with the rake as a tester just to see what it would look like. And here's our finished piece. I used 4 canvases, 2 different sizes, and see at the top left you can see that little bit of blue in there. Nothing on here is perfect, and I think that's the cool thing about it. Like if you did a really big canvas with a couple of streaks in it, I think that could totally be a really striking piece for your home. But I really love this. I love how it has depth to it. It's just a really cool piece. But let me know what you think. Alright, so we're going to start off with some water and some concrete fortifier and some concrete. And I work with concrete a lot, so I kind of just have these measurements down. But if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. So we're gonna make like a slurry that's kind of like a thin pancake batter to put onto our canvas. You want to put this layer on so it helps the concrete rag soak and hold to the canvas better. Now make sure that you have the whole back covered. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. And I like to do this all at once. I found that it adheres better, so you don't want the canvas to dry first. Now I'm just going to take some old ribbed cotton shirts and cut them up, but you could use any fabric. Now you'll notice that it does soak up the water quickly, so you want to add a little more water to your mixture to make sure that your shirt is completely saturated, or your fabric. Once it's all saturated, you're going to want to just lay that onto your canvas. So whatever shape that you're interested in or that your heart desires. And since this is ribbed, I'm going to go over a little more and add some more concrete slurry to it to kind of soak up into those rib marks to give it a cleaner feel. But you could easily use something on purpose to show texture, like burlap or something like that. But that's all, and you just let this guy dry, and there it is. Now I did 4 of them together on here, and I really liked how it looked. I kind of made it look like they were all coming together in the middle, but you could do one piece, you could do this as multiples. I think a large one frame would be awesome too. But let me know what you think about this one. Is this a technique that you would try? Oh, you made it to the end. Well, then you should hit subscribe so you don't miss out on anything.